Hi Year 11s, this video is on cumulative frequency. So with this we're just going to go in straight to an example because it's much easier to see what will happen when we do that. We did cover this last year in maths, so if you want some more practice or some more notes, go back to your notes from last year. So this example, we have a group of 80 athletes, each run laps of a running track. The group frequency table shows the number of laps run by different athletes. Construct a cumulative frequency table for this data and use it to draw a cumulative frequency curve for the number of laps run by different athletes. Use the curve to estimate the median and interquartile range of the number of laps. So with this, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create a cumulative frequency table. So to do that, what we will be doing is we are going to be adding another column to the table. So I'm going to call that one CF for cumulative frequency. Now hopefully you remember doing this last year. If not, the way we fill out this column is we start with the first frequency, which is just 1. And then we add each frequency that comes next. So now we have 20 next. We need to do 1 plus 20, which will be 21. The next number is 31, so 21 plus 31 will be 52. 52 plus 21 will be 73. And 73 plus 7 will be 80. So if we look now back to the start of the question, we had 80 athletes. Our cumulative frequency adds to 80, which means it looks like we've done it right. So just to review, to do your cumulative frequency, you start with your first frequency, you add the next frequency. So we've got 1 plus 20 is 21, then we do 21 plus 31 is 52, 52 plus 21 is 73, 73 plus 7 is 80. And we add those values. From there, we are going to be drawing a cumulative frequency curve. Now this is going to magically appear because it's much easier for me just to insert it and talk about it rather than me trying to draw it right now. And look here, we magically have our cumulative frequency graph. So to plot the graph, what we need to do is we are going to plot our cumulative frequency values with the laps, and we're going to use the second value of our intervals for the laps. So for the 10, we'll plot the cumulative frequency of 1 at 10, and you see that is being done here. Now the second point will be at 20, and that will be 21. So we go to 20 on the number of laps, and then up to 21 and plot that value. 30 laps we'll plot 52, 40 laps we plot 73, and at 50 laps we'll plot 80. So just remember, we plot our cumulative frequency value with the second value in the class interval. Now we need to, the question asks us to estimate the median and interquartile range. So to do this, first let's look at the median. So we know there's 80 pieces of data in this data set. So if we think for the median is halfway. So we want to find the median at 40. So if you look at the graph here, at the cumulative frequency of 40, a line has been drawn across to our cumulative frequency line, and then we measure down to the bottom and we read from the graph that way. And then we will see that the median is at 26. Now for the interquartile range, we need quartile 1 and quartile 3. Remember, our formula is interquartile range equals quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Now quartile 1 is at 25% of the data. So we want 25% of 80, which will be at 20. So we go to 20 on our graph, read across for the quartile 1, and that will be at around 19. You might say 19.5. These will all be approximations, so in an exam situation you will be given a little bit of leeway on your values. And then remember, quartile 3 will be at 75% of the data, which would be 60 out of 80. And once again, we read off from there. So what I'll probably say is that quartile 1 will equal, I would say, 19.5, and quartile 3 will be equaling 34. From there, we've got those values. We can then work out the interquartile range, so that would be 34 minus 19.5, which will give us 14.5. So the other thing that often happens with cumulative frequencies and gets talked about is there idea of percentiles. So a percentile is a number where a certain percentage of scores fall below that percentile. So if your score is in the 90th percentile, that means you scored better than 90% of people who took the test. And that's the idea behind percentiles. You'll often see questions that come up in cumulative frequency regarding that, so it's just to remember what it means. So that's all we need to do for this section, and then you can go and do exercise 6H from your textbook. Remember, email me with any questions.